You can feel it. A little chill in the morning air, briskness against your skin in the morning. The lawn isn't growing as fast as it used to. It crunches a little more under your feet. Leaves on the trees are starting to turn different shades of color, away from the bright greens. School's starting. Hear the school bus engines roar in the distance. Everything, it seems, is slowing down a little, except one thing. It's a staple of this time of year, always has been. Sounds of grunts and growls, a lot of pushing and shoving, and absolutely no holding. Hard workers preparing for a job. A lot to do, a lot to show, a lot to prove. Hard lines, hash marks, X's and O's, a lot of film, and just plain old hard work. And they can use these lessons throughout life. It's the season we've all been expecting it. Hello, I'm David Sullivan at Madison Southern High School. It's time for high school football. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the show, the Men's Mission Breakfast Club. Find out more here. The Jon Clarke Show is sponsored by Sign Source on South Keeneland Drive, Richmond, St. Joseph Berea Wound Center, St. Joseph Berea Hospital, Central Kentucky Surgery. Hello again, everybody. David Sullivan here with Coach Jon Clarke, Madison Southern. We come to you from the weight room, the weight training room. Coach, your season's been kind of tough for you. You got a young football team. We've been talking about that. Let's go to the last game before this show against Lincoln County.
Sure.
You got onto the field, and I know your offense opened right up and drove down the field.
It's always, you spend a lot of time preparing as a coach that first drive. It's a big momentum thing for us, and so I spend a lot of time preparing what I call our openers. Kind of script our first 10 plays of the game. We try to stay to it as much as possible unless we see something that really deviates. For the most part, I usually get to about the first 6 or 7 before I deviate. This game being an example, that was the first game we had that everything we called in the first 4 plays was exactly how we wanted it to be, the way we had worked it all week, the way we thought they'd play it, played right into our hands. We had a goal to open up the offense a little more this week. That being said, that doesn't mean throwing the ball over the field. Part of our offense, a fraction of what we're capable of offensively is in. A reverse is not a trick play in this offense. It's a counter play. We ran 4 reverses and a reverse pass on Friday. That's kind of the standard of what we see our offense progressing to where the ball can go anyway at any time. And it opened up pretty good in the first drive. It really did. Came back to where we called a couple plays over again. It was so open and clicking so well, and went down and scored right away.
That momentum didn't last very long because your defense, the first play that Lincoln County, so to kind of talk about the psychology of that. And
yeah, I mean, you get a big momentum build for you, and then Powell County, we went down and we scored first series. And then after that, when you give up a touchdown, it can knock the wind out of your sails a little bit as a team. What really knocks the wind out of your sails is when it's the first play from scrimmage. And I think a few times this year, we've given up a touchdown on the first play of the game. And that's something we have to cut down. Offensively, we're trying to get those big plays early on. Defensively, we've got to cut them down early on. And then we came back out, we didn't execute. The same things that worked the first series and the same things we saw were still there in the second series, but we don't make the right decision. We don't make the proper pitch. We're 3 and out next thing you know. They go down and score again. All of a sudden, all that momentum you had in that first drive that was exactly the way you saw it happening, it's all on their side of the ball.
But you were able to close the gap a little bit in the second quarter before Lincoln County scored a couple more touchdowns right before halftime.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, just watching back to the film, everything we wanted the whole game was there. They didn't do anything different than we'd worked all week. The things we ran or the things we wanted to run, the things we felt would be good. And they were when we ran them the right way. You also noticed we had a big drive in the fourth quarter right before the game ended again. We ended up second week in a row on the 1 yard line or inside the 4 yard line without points. Driving me nuts doing that. But bottom line is, if you can move the ball in spurts throughout the game, it's not like I'm calling a whole different game throughout the game. We're not executing the same plays at all times. Yeah, things are there. It's just an execution.
We'll be back with Jon Clarke. We got more to go. I want to remind you that our sponsors, some of them are Luxury Pets, Luxury Pet Service, Luxem Patterson Attorneys, and we also want to thank State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond. Back in just a minute. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Luxury Pets, the home of the happy dogs. The law firm of Luxon and Patterson. Riptide on the River Restaurant. Hopper's Jewelry. Jerry Goebel, State Farm Insurance, Richmond. Dr. Dan Sipples, Chiropractic Healthcare. Central Bank. Williams Tax and Financial Services. Regal Beagle, Downtown Richmond. ERA, Professional Hometown Services. Hall & Sons Auto Care. Berea Children's Champion. Reynolds Plumbing. Skipworth Veterinary Clinic. Super Save. Sight Savers Family Eye Care. Mackenzie Morgan Music. Davenport Custom Guitars, your local repair connection. First Gear in Richmond. Guardian Bank, home of the $250 deal. Listen to the Jon Clarke Show on WWAG Radio, real country playing stars and legends. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the show, the Men's Mission Breakfast Club. Find out more here. The Jon Clarke Show is sponsored by Sign Source on South Keeneland Drive, Richmond. St. Joseph Berea Wound Center. St. Joseph Berea Hospital. Central Kentucky Surgery. I want to thank our sponsors, Hopper's Jewelry, for helping make this program, the Jon Clarke Show, possible, Luxem Patterson Attorneys, and Sipples Chiropractic. Coach, we talked about the first half. You kind of closed the gap, then Lincoln County extended it out, their lead going into halftime. How did you handle your team at halftime? What was your approach? What were your thoughts and plans for the second half?
A good question. You know, our approach at this halftime is a little different than it's been, in the sense that a little disappointed and upset as a coaching staff, because the things we'd worked were there, the things we wanted were there, we weren't getting them done. I think as a coach, you hope that it's the opposite. Either when you go in at halftime, either everything's there and clicking, or they've done something totally different, so you have to make adjustments. It's hard when there's no adjustments to make. Offensively, there weren't. Defensively, we didn't progress as the game went on. We made some adjustments defensively as far as the front we were doing and whatnot, which gained a little momentum when we did that. Defensively, we weren't learning from our mistakes as the game went on. For example, if the guy that I'm up against reaches me to the right, then I need to get a feel for what that technique is and how he's doing that, and I need to adjust that as the game goes on. We weren't doing that this week, and that hurt us.
You've got a young defense. We've talked about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, again, it's like 8 or 9 of our starters are sophomores, and there's 8 sophomores, 1 freshman.
And you're in a situation in this particular game and in others where they've had to be on the field
a lot. Yep, and that hurts, you know, and we know that. We know that plays into it. You know, the reality of it is we're playing sophomores, some freshmen, and then juniors with not a lot of playing experience against teams with juniors and seniors. so that have playing experience. So it is. It's sometimes I feel like we're taking a knife into a gunfight right now, but also I like the knife that we're carrying because I know it's going to be a bazooka in a couple of years. So I'm okay with that. We're taking our lumps along the way. We knew we were going to. The biggest thing is this team staying together, and yes, they are. And I think you'll realize we don't quit. We play hard, and they're still anxious to learn. And sure, I mean, the expectation of the team has changed. They went from wanting to compete to now they want to win. And your losses come harder when you expect to be in a game and try to win now. But I'd rather have that be the expectation than just to compete.
Do you consider this group of players coachable?
Oh, no question. As far as the group of kids we have, I've never been around a more coachable group in the sense that everybody that's around them says the same thing. Everybody that ever watches practice is like, wow, they're so attentive during practice. I don't have to yell at kids standing over here messing around. Like, people are involved. They practice. Nobody's standing around. We've got 8 coaches on the field. I mean, there's guys running every which way. There's a lot going on. We're progressing the way we want to. We're also to a point in the year where a lot of teams are dealing with injuries. Kids are getting sick in school. Those are all things that play into our practice scenarios as well. Like, we've had to cut back on some stuff in practice just because you have 3 kids out with the flu. That makes a big difference for you. And that's something that's been happening over the last couple of weeks as well.
We'll be back. We'll talk more about that Lincoln County game and more about Madison Southern football after this. Stay with us. We'd like to thank our sponsors: Luxury Pets, the home of the happy dogs; the law firm of Luxon and Patterson; Riptide on the River Restaurant; Hopper's Jewelry; Jerry Goebel State Farm Insurance Richmond; Dr. Dan Sipples Chiropractic Healthcare; Central Bank; Williams Tax and Financial Services; Regal Beagle Downtown Richmond; ERA Professional Hometown Services; Hall & Sons Auto Care; Berea Children's Champion; Reynolds Plumbing; Skipworth Veterinary Clinic; Super Save; Sight Savers Family Eye Care; McKenzie Morgan Music; Davenport Custom Guitars, your local repair connection; First Gear in Richmond; Guardian Bank, home of the $250 deal. Listen to the Jon Clarke Show on WWAG Radio, real country playing stars and legends. Hello, I'm David Sullivan.
And I'm Tommy Floyd, Superintendent with Madison County Schools.
We'd like to introduce you to 2 new high school sports programs. Watch the new Madison Central High School Football Coaches Show with Bert Brown and the Madison Southern High School Football Show with Jon Clarke.
The shows will air on Madison County Schools Channel 9 as well as Time Warner Cable Channel 5.
Get in-depth thoughts and comments from coaches and players throughout the season. So if you enjoy local high school sports and the value and character they build, join us.
Because every student counts.
Hello, I'm David Sullivan.
And I'm Jon Clarke, head coach of the Madison Southern Eagles.
Join us right here for the Jon Clarke Show throughout the football season. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the show, the Men's Mission Breakfast Club. Find out more here. The Jon Clarke Show is sponsored by Sign Source on South Keeneland Drive, Richmond, St. Joseph Berea Wound Center, St. Joseph Berea Hospital, Central Kentucky Surgery. You're watching the Jon Clarke Show from the Madison Southern High School weight room. I'm David Sullivan. We have more to come, but right now we're going to take a pause and take a look at our Student Athlete Showcase.
Haley Thomas.
All right. What grade are you in?
I'm a freshman.
Okay. How long have you been dancing?
This type of dancing I've been doing for 4 years, but at the studio dancing I've been doing for 11.
Okay. You all do some competition. When does that take place?
Competition we will begin in January, but we are hosting our own competition in November.
Okay. What kind of dance team do you think you have?
I would believe that our dance team is more focused on being together and having a good unity and like bonding as a team more than it is the skills, even though those are just as great equally. But, yeah.
All right. What do you like about dancing?
I like having the way to be able to express yourself through dancing and be able to evoke your feelings through the different moves that you can do in it.
Miller.
And what grade you in?
I'm a senior.
And how long you been dancing?
4 years.
And what do you like about dancing?
I love everything about dance. It's just like a great way to express your emotions through, your body and music.
All right. Now I know you all do competition. What kind of team do you think you'll have this year?
I think we are really close bonded this year. And hopefully our hip-hop and pom and jazz will be good, but I think our pom will be the best competitive this year.
7, 8, right? Taking pom, 6, 7. These are the plays, don't let them be on your top. Leave the pom to distraction, okay? 6, 7, and take them and shoot them straight down.
I'm Marley Jennings.
And what grade you in?
I'm a junior.
And how long you been dancing?
5 years.
All right. What do you like about dancing?
It's really fun. I like being on the team and dressing up for competitions and stuff.
All right. Now, in competitions, what kind of team do you think you all have this year in competitions?
We have a small varsity team this year, but and we have one competition routine so far, so we're gonna get it pretty good.
And what grade you in?
I'm a sophomore.
All right. How long have you been dancing?
I've been dancing since 7th grade, but I've been on the Southern Belles dance team for 2 years now.
All right. What do you like about dancing?
We're just becoming a very strong family, and it's all like we're sisters, and we're not really friends. We're more like sisters because we're always together.
All right. I know you all compete. You got competition coming up. What kind of team do you think you all have this year?
I think we're going to have a pretty good competitive team. We took a lot of people that haven't danced before, but they're working hard, they're getting their skills, and I think we're going to have a good competitive team this year.
Jon Clarke and David Sullivan here at Madison Southern High School talking about the football team. Our sponsors, we want to always keep in mind that they make this possible. The Madison County Schools are supporting this, Time Warner Cable. We have MadisonSouthernFootball.com. We want to remind you about that. You can go there and check out everything about this football program. Hopper's Jewelry, another one of our sponsors. Coach, we talked about your halftime, how you're working with this team, how they're coachable. Lincoln County would go back into that game and into the second half when things kind of got away. But how did you feel overall with the way the team performed?
Not a better game, no question. I mean, this is to this point in the season, I felt like we've progressed as the year's gone on. I felt like this was probably the worst game we've played. We made a lot of mistakes, but I will say this: Lincoln County is a really good football team right now. Coming in with one win, we knew they were better than their record showed. And they're a team that is sitting where we wish we were sitting right now, in the sense that they're playing really well at the right time. They're a different team now than they were early, which I still feel we are. We've grown up a lot as this season has progressed, but they're hitting on all cylinders right now. It's a tough team that I wouldn't be surprised if you see them sitting at the top of the district when it's all said and done.
Okay, district. This is another district loss, which doesn't help your case either.
Yeah, you know, our goal that we set was we want to make the playoffs, and that's a goal that this team set, and I think it's a realistic goal. And we have 3 district games left, which means we need to win 2 out of the 3, and that's what we're striving for right now. We're striving to get into the playoff game.
Let's talk a little bit too about how you feel like this team will progress from now. What have you worked on with them in the week of practice, early in the week, but coming out of the Lincoln County game, what was your approach on the practice field?
We're trying to work on just being better at the things we're doing. We're not trying to add a whole bunch of things, you know, but in this offense, part of this offense is to progress, but our timing is off. We've made some adjustments and some tweaks to fix our timing. I think that's going to help a lot this week. Timing, I'm referring to our motions, our pitches, guys being in the right position at the right time. You know, part of our run game, you know, we're a triple option run team. We've got to pitch the football and we've got to catch the pitch. When that's not happening, we lose half of our run game. So that's something that we've really emphasized this week. Defensively, we're emphasizing our defensive line getting their hands on people. You know, we're firing off, but we're not using our hands to redirect and figure out where the ball's going. And up to this point in the season, we've jumped off sides 18 times. That being said, half of them have resulted in a first down. And that's not acceptable. You know, that's something that we have to fix, and we're really emphasizing keep our keys on defense to make sure that we're not jumping off sides.
Okay, we'll be back. We have more to come. We're going to talk about some of the upcoming games. You mentioned more district play coming up right after we take this break.
Watch the Coaches Show on the Madison County Schools Channel 9. Watch the Coaches Show on Time Warner Cable Channel 5.
Hello, I'm David Sullivan. And I'm Jon Clarke, head coach of the Madison Southern Eagles.
Join us right here for the Jon Clarke Show throughout the football season. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the show, the Men's Mission Breakfast Club. Find out more here. The Jon Clarke Show is sponsored by Sign Source on South Keeneland Drive, Richmond, St. Joseph Berea Wound Center, St. Joseph Berea Hospital, Central Kentucky Surgery. More to go here with Coach Jon Clarke. Right now, Coach, we want to pause and meet some of the players on the team.
Bryden Gill, linebacker, running back.
Scott Lamb, O-line.
Sean Gabbert, safety.
Spencer Schmidt, wide receiver.
Spencer Stone, tight end, defensive end.
Stephen Brown, offensive lineman.
Caleb Goss, quarterback.
Trevor Huff, D-line, tight end.
We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the show, the Men's Mission Breakfast Club. Find out more here. The Jon Clarke Show is sponsored by Sign Source on South Keeneland Drive, Richmond, St. Joseph Berea Wound Center, St. Joseph Berea Hospital, Central Kentucky Surgery. A reminder, the Jon Clarke Show is brought to you in part by Luxury Pet Service, Lux and Patterson Attorneys, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Coach, coming off of the Pulaski game, you still got football to go, district play to go. Kind of lead us through.
Sure, we've still got the Laurels on the slate, you know, North and South Laurel, and then also we have Garrett County. You know, we'll be on the road one more week, and then we'll come home for homecoming. Really excited about that. We've got our homecoming parade. coming up the Thursday night before homecoming. That's a pretty exciting deal. We're going to do some new traditions with the boys that week as well that we're starting here at Southern with homecoming week. And then after homecoming, we'll be at home against Garrett County to round things out. Excited about that game. It's senior night, which is a very big deal for me and our seniors. And we're doing a lot of things traditionally, changing the way we're doing senior night to really honor those guys. We're turning into more of a senior week, actually, for those players. And then and that night's also going to be a fun night because it's close to Halloween, which, David's one of my favorite holidays. So we're encouraging everybody to dress up in a costume and come out to the game and see if we can't get this place decked out in a little Halloween atmosphere for the seniors as well.
Needless to say, good luck to you and the entire team.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
David Sullivan here with Jon Clarke. We'll see you the next time. Thanks for being with us. So long.
We'd like to thank our sponsors: Luxury Pets, the home of the happy dogs; the law firm of Luxon and Patterson; Riptide on the River Restaurant; Hopper's Jewelry; Jerry Goebel State Farm Insurance Richmond; Dr. Dan Sipples Chiropractic Healthcare; Central Bank; Williams Tax and Financial Services; Regal Beagle Downtown Richmond; ERA Professional Hometown Services; Hall & Sons Auto Care; Be a Children's Champion; Reynolds Plumbing; Skipworth Veterinary Clinic; Super Save; Sight Savers Family Eye Care; McKenzie Morgan Music; Davenport Custom Guitars, your local repair connection; First Gear in Richmond; Guardian Bank, home of the $250 deal. Listen to The Jon Clarke Show on WWAG Radio, real country playing stars and legends.
Hello, I'm David Sullivan. And I'm Tommy Floyd, Superintendent with Madison County Schools.
We'd like to introduce you to two new high school sports programs. Watch the new Madison Central High School Football Coaches Show with Bert Brown and the Madison Southern High School Football Show with Jon Clarke.
The shows will air on Madison County Schools Channel 9 as well as Time Warner Cable Channel 5.
Get in-depth thoughts and comments from coaches and players throughout the season. So if you enjoy local high school sports and the value and character they build, join us.
Because every student counts.
Hello, I'm David Sullivan.
And I'm Jon Clarke, head coach of the Madison Southern Eagles.
Join us right here for the Jon Clarke Show throughout the football season. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the show, the Men's Mission Breakfast Club. Find out more here.
If you missed the show and your David Sullivan highlights, check us out on MadisonSouthernFootball.com.
Watch The Jon Clarke Show on YouTube, Facebook, RosenbaumCommunications.com, and MadisonSouthernFootball.com. The Jon Clarke Show is the property of Rosenbalm Communications, and distribution and recordings by any means is prohibited. To order quality copies of the program, please visit RosenbaumCommunications.com for information.